Okay, so this is part one in how to draw a penguin. And we are going to draw this cute little penguin in graphite pencil. So get your drawing pencils. You will need an HB and a dark one, like a 6B. If you don't have drawing pencils, that's okay. You can absolutely do this with your regular school pencils. That's fine. So I'm going to grab my paper, and I'm going to have an eraser and some blending sticks. So you'll need blending sticks. If you don't have blending sticks, you can use Q-tips. That's absolutely okay. So I'm going to start by drawing the basic shape of my penguin. And if I look at my penguin, he has a nice oval shape here. So I'm going to draw him on the bottom half of my page, and I'm going to put in this oval shape of my penguin, just like this. And I'm being careful not to push too hard so that I can erase and do any changes that I might want. So it's kind of an egg shape, kind of squished egg shape. And then I'm going to come in and put his little head. So his head is kind of an oval shape to the side here. So I'm going to just do a oval shape like this to the side, just to kind of get the basic shape. And then I'm going to put his little wing in here, and it's pointy on the end, kind of rounded and pointed. And on the other side, his little wing goes out a little bit more, but has the same edge like that. I'm going to just attach it to them like that. And then he's going to need some feet. So I'm going to put some little ankles on him. And he has kind of cute little penguin ankles here. And a little jagged edge of his fur, just like that. And I'm going to come down just a little bit like that. And then he has his foot here. And he has 3 little toes. So his one here, and one kind of in the middle, and then one off to the side. Now these are kind of big black claws, so I'm going to just give him some claws and then put some webbing in between because he has little web feet, just like that. And the same thing on this side. He has his little toe here, and a little toe right here, and then one's pointing off to the side, just like that. And we're going to come in and color those in black, but for now I'm just going to put them in very lightly. And then on the bottom here, I'm going to give him some snow edge, and I'm doing kind of a weird ruffly little sketch, because if we look at the picture, you notice that this is not a smooth edge. It has kind of clumpy edge. So I always want to do a line that represents kind of what it is I'm drawing. So a little bottom like that. And let's see, what else do I want to put on my penguin? Bottom looks good. I like the shape of him. I'm still using my darker pencil, right? My harder pencil, my HB, because this is going to be easier for me to erase. So I have lots of little sketchy lines going on. And I'm going to come in now and fix up his little head here, put in his beak, just like this. And he has a little beak at the bottom and neck, just like that. And it kind of comes in. And he has his little eye right here in the middle. And the black part, we want to leave a little ring of white. So I'm just going to make sure that I have that little ring of white right there. Just like that. Perfect. Cute little guy. So at this point I have these lines that were from the very beginning when I drew my oval. So I'm going to take my eraser and just clean up some of my guidelines that I put in. And I'm going to put in some more details after that. Just like that. So he's cleaned up. Now he has this black and white pattern, so it kind of swoops up around him and then comes down under his neck. So I'm going to bring it down here like this, kind of up towards the eye, but not touching the eye, and then it comes straight down and kind of whooshes off the shoulder there like that. Just like that. And he has a little neck, and then on each side of him there's just a little sliver of black. You can mostly see his belly, but I'm going to put a little sliver of black just like that. And on the edge of his wing, I'm going to draw a line because there's a little black edge on each side on his wing. Just like so. And now I have pretty much all the details that I want to put in. I'm going to switch to my darker pencil, and in this one I'm going to use my 7B, nice and dark. So you'll notice right away that the lead is nice and much darker than the drafting pencil that I was using. I'm going to color in the edges of the wings here, where he's very, very dark. And I want you to be careful not to smudge your art when we use these soft pencils. Now, if you're just using a number 2 pencil at home, you're going to want to just push harder so it makes it darker. And I'm going to make sure that my pencil moves in the direction that the fur or the feathers of whatever it is I'm drawing. So in this case, the feathers are going this way, away from his eye. So I'm going to just scribble up and down, back and forth in that kind of direction and pattern, just to give him a little fuzzy look here. And I'm just going to fill in his whole face, just like that. Make sure you don't get into the white of his eye. I'm going to get pretty close to it, but I don't want to cover it up. And when I get closer to the beak here, I'm going to lighten my pressure up just a little bit because I don't want to make the whole thing dark. I want to be able to see that dark line where his beak is in the middle. So I'm going to just fill that in best I can here. And down towards here. Cute and fuzzy. So around the edge of the bottom of his chin, I'm going to go a little darker. And I'm going to make it a little dark right here where he has some black showing, right here. And that's good for now. Okay. So I'm going to go back in and make sure I've erased that white circle really nicely there. And I'm going to make his eye really black. And then I'm going to come in really close to it and darken all around there. Just like that. Okay. And I'm going to clean up his little head. So anytime you want to just pick up your eraser and clean up the edges, you just want to be careful that you're not brushing through the dark part. I'm going to outline his little beak here, and I'm going to put just a little bit of graphite underneath, just like that, to make it give me a little something to blend when I switch to my blending tools here. Now he has some shadows on his belly. Now if you look at the original photo, you can see there's some shading here. We have a little bit of feather texture, and he has a neck. So in order to do that, we're just going to use very light pressure, and I'm just going to come in and do some little strokes of my pencil up and down here to kind of go around his neck, and then a little bit more on this side where we have the shadows. And again, I want to use my pencil the same direction that his feathers are going. And then as I get it down a little bit more, I'm going to spread my pencils out a little bit, just so more of the white will show. And I'm going to do a little bit around the edge of him, just like this, so we can get that kind of round look. And I didn't get rid of that first line there, so I'm going to erase that. My preliminary sketch. Okay, so his little foot is darker underneath the fur, so in a jagged line I'm going to do a little dark shadow onto his foot. And I don't want to color his foot in all the way because I really want those dark black claws to show. So I'm going to draw those in just like this. And he's going to have a little bit of a soft belly, so I'm just doing a little wiggle of my pencil here. Yeah, once I have a little bit of graphite on him and some textural pencil strokes, I can go back in and blend. Now, if you want to keep him like this, you absolutely can. Some artists like this kind of sketchy look. I'm gonna blend him so you can see what that looks like. Now, I'll be using my blending stick, but at home, if you want, you can use your Q-tip, or you can use like a little rounded corner of a paper towel or a tissue, something like that. Make sure you're not using a tissue that has lotion in it. Now, I don't want to get rid of all of these lines, so I'm not pushing very hard with my blending stick. I'm just going to lightly smudge that edge because I don't really want a sharp line around him. I just want a shadow, but I don't want to get rid of all of my pencil lines. So if I blend it out too much, I might have to go back in and put some of those back. So I'm just going to give it a soft, kind of fuzzy blend. And whenever we're blending, it doesn't matter what you're using, you want to make sure you're still going the same direction that the feathers are laying on his body, the same direction that you put your pencil marks in. So I wouldn't start doing this direction, right? I want to make sure I'm going with the same way that I drew my little feathers in. And I'm just going to use the dirty end of my blending tool here to give him a little bit of shadow around the edge and then a little bit up here. And again, I'm not pushing hard at all. I don't really want to blend it all out. So I'm going to get his little face softened here. And I'm going to come in on his nose, on the top of his head here, and underneath his beak. And again, I don't want to bring all the darkness up into that area. I just want to leave a little bit of shadow so we can see under his little mouth. And then underneath his wings are in shadow, so I'm going to blend those a little bit, just like that. And he's pretty cute. Give him a little feather textures here. Okay, and then on his foot, I'm going to come in and just give him a little shadow on his foot. Maybe he has a little wrinkle on his toe here. So I'm going to put a little in there. And then on the snow, I'm just going to do some little textural lines, just like this, to give it a little idea that there's some shadows there. I don't want to blend it all out too much. And I'm going to use this just to make some shadows underneath my penguin. But we still want to keep it looking like snow, so just like that. So that's all for part 1 of my penguin tutorial here. In the second part, I'm going to come in and put a clump of balloons up at the top of this page. So hopefully you've left room up here. All right, thank you.